two with some of these guys, some new faces, year two for you. Is there any difference between year one and year two for a coach approaching this?
Yeah, definitely. I think simply because there's so much new to the new players terminology, and to your old players you're trying to remind them of things. It isn't as if they think about this stuff 24 hours a day like we do, and so there is a lot of reminding, and you have to I've just talked to a number of coaches over the year, and they say the more patient you can be with them, usually the better receptors they are. But it's hard sometimes, especially for the older guys. But there is a lot that I don't know if you saw at the beginning, but like they're saying no, put somebody else in. I don't understand what's being said. So there'll be some of that, and that'll probably be that way for the next month or so.
There's so much focus on the 10th round of the conditioning
Yeah.
and everything. Now that you're through that, is this really kind of where you hone down and everybody be on the same page?
Yeah, we have to go through the conditioning aspect for a week just in order to be able to practice. I mean, we only get 4 hours a week with them, but it's about to be 4 hours a day when we officially begin next week. And you just have to be in a certain level of shape just to make it through a practice. So, I mean, we went an hour and 20 today, and I thought after about 40 minutes we looked pretty tapped. That sometimes happens after we've had 3 days off. But 10th round is more, one, it's a mental thing, but it's also we've got to get you to a point to where we can even practice hard.
Explain why you wanted to have an open practice. What was the idea behind this? What do you guys want out of it?
Yeah, it's probably best to watch us now to hopefully see some growth through the course of the year. But, I think fans have questions of what do certain players look like, whether it be Corey Washington or Justin or Mate. And then they want to see, do the returners get any better? And, with us not having a charity exhibition, which a number of schools do have, it's one of those things. I didn't want to wait until Emporia State for fans to get an opportunity. The timing of it isn't great, but I do know I wanted to do it before we officially begin next Wednesday because those practices are way more intense and they're probably not as nice as we were today.
Yeah, just the intensity, it still looked like it was pretty high. Just to explain to people what, a lot of one-on-one drills, a lot of teamwork drills. What do you guys want to get out of these practices before the official one starts?
Some of it's just can we handle pressure. So some of the full court stuff, whether it be one-on-one or just being able to get to the other end in 8 seconds, is handling pressure. Some of it is schematic. Once we get to the 5-on-5 aspect, as you've seen, I mean, you've been to practices before. We don't really take much in the way of gaps. We try to keep it moving and do a lot of the teaching in the film room the following day. I've tried to explain drills and it takes 5 minutes and they're going to screw it up anyway. So now we just take 10 seconds, tell them what they should do, and then we'll correct it individually and corporately behind closed doors. But you just really, again, there's a pace at which you have to play in order to be good. There's an intensity you have to play, and we're just trying to level up to that.
And so far with Mate, you guys watch him on film overseas. What's been the biggest difference in person? What's kind of struck you guys, these couple weeks you've worked with him?
One, he's just a phenomenal young man. He works his rear end off, and so any night time that you have a character and a work ethic, you know that you're dealing with the right kid. To be honest with you, he's better than what I thought. He's a good player, extremely skilled, and he's really going to help us. He was really good today, and he was the best player on the court today. But you can tell that's a kid who wants to add value to a team, and he is about the right things.
Just for him, him playing so much, professional basketball overseas, switching over to the college basketball, is there a transition that you see from him, or is it kind of just plug and play?
Well, I will tell you that there's a lot of the speed of the game's a lot different, and it's in Europe it's a lot more physical than what it is here. So being able to defend without fouling, I don't know how much you saw of Corey Washington today, but he's kind of in the same boat. He's got to learn how to defend without fouling. But the physical nature that European pros play with, that stuff is foul in college, and the speed's probably a lot more quicker. He'll get used to the execution, but extremely heady player and extremely skilled and versatile.
How much does it help him to go against Quincy Ballard every day in practice, you know, kind of the opposite of what he does. Do you think those guys kind of make each other better?
No doubt. That is a iron sharpens iron proverb. It's going to help Quincy tremendously going against that every day. It's going to help Mate going against that every day. And then even the value that Zane adds more on the perimeter when we find ourselves in cross matches, that's going to be able to help, and just understanding the discipline that's required when those matchups do occur on the perimeter.
In those one-on-one drills, how much does having so much depth at the ball handler position, how much does it help the competitiveness of those one-on-one drills?
Yeah, tremendously. I mean, we match him up differently. You know, we didn't have Bijan today. He's been sick, and then Ronnie went out pretty early with a minor injury. And so those little things come up, but we needed multiple ball handlers. You know, last year we just kind of said X, and then Bijan didn't become eligible until late, and it took him a little while. But to have multiple guys who can make plays off the bounce, but more importantly to relieve pressure. If I'm the only playmaker on the court, other coaches aren't stupid. They're going to get the ball out of my hands. And so we needed multiple playmakers on the court, to be honest with you, 1 through 4. And I thought we were able to solve that particular issue.
One last one on Mate. Just what's the latest on him? I know there was some questions on eligibility, what year he was going to be. Like, is there any update there? Or is that still ongoing?
Yeah, it's definitely ongoing. I mean, you know, we feel good about it, but it's in the NCAA hands, and we feel good about everything that's been presented.
One more on that really quick, if you don't mind. How did you come across this? You know, with a guy that's playing overseas, did he have an interest to play college basketball? How did this come about?
I think once his season ended, he said, you know what, I do want to see what's college. You've seen a number of players come over from Europe. NIL kind of provides those opportunities. These are guys who, in essence, are getting scholarship money. They get room paid for, they get food paid for, but it's usually not much more than that. So to be able to kind of step out a little bit, and especially if you want to be an NBA player, try your skills. So you've seen it with a number of Europeans.
How valuable is OG in that process? You know, someone that can relate to him, speak his language. How valuable is he in recruiting?
Extremely valuable. I mean, just to navigate the academic side of it, we would have had to hire somebody who speaks Croatian, could read Croatian transcripts. So to have OG around is, it was one of those things where OG knows what he's good at, and when he does it, he kills it. And he handled that job phenomenally.
Mate was saying that he's kind of been like his, you know, little, you know,
been his taxi. Yeah.
Like, is it kind of funny to see like how close they've bonded? Just like, what's it been like to see so far?
Yeah, you can imagine us going to a foreign country and only finding one other guy who speaks English. We'd probably gravitate to that person quite a bit. So that's definitely been the case here.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.